Over the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you how to gain back 1 hour of your life every day and how to reclaim nearly a decade of lost time to stress, uncertainty, and burnout by using and accessing flow states. Did you know that learning how to access and sustain flow states can lead to almost a 500% in productivity? When in flow, creativity does not just rise, it explodes, with an up to 400% increase in ideation, innovation, and insight. That's the neuroscience of collapsing time. A full work week distilled into one single day. But here's what most people miss. Flow is not random. It's trainable, it's hackable, it's on demand if you want it. It's repeatable, and if you tap into flow just a few times a week, you can reclaim a decade of your life. This video is a transformative leap into the deep architecture of how to sustain flow, how to embrace and embody radical joy, and how to sustain this momentum within your life. I'd like to pose some questions to you. How many of you are feeling the deep insecurities and uncomfortables of feeling demotivated with where you are in life? How many of you have lost your spark to your inner purpose and meaning? How many of you are smiling on the outside but deeply painful within? And how many of you have lost the magic, wonder, awe that can take place when living an authentic calling within your life? My name is Gareth Kaatze. I was a filmmaker and I'm now a transformational coach. I grew up an atheist and hyper-rationalist and thought I understood and knew all the mechanisms within the world, but I had a deep sense of loss for meaning and purpose. I kind of went the hedonist route in the beginning, seeking these altered states, these ecstatic experiences through things like alcohol, drugs, parties, and not living a life that was truly aligned with what I want to do and add to the planet. Along this path, I started to experience with altered states when I was younger, and this started to crack the window open for meaning to break through within my life. There's an idea of monophasic versus polyphasic culture. Monophasic means we idolize one mode of thinking, our default mode, the rational mind that sees reality for what it is within our five senses. Polyphasic cultures, on the other hand, valued altered states. They valued dreams, substances, sacraments, sex, dance, breathwork, drumming, all these things that pull us out of the default mode network of our inner thoughts and bring us into a connection with the divine or something higher and above ourselves. When I was young, I was alert to the path of a filmmaker. I learned about myth, storytelling, archetypes, heroic journeys, but I also learned what I didn't want. My success was kind of affirmed by my surroundings and leaps in my career. I directed commercials, I worked with A-list YouTubers. I was on a path to external success. Yet on the inside, I felt that this wasn't resonant with my calling and the deeper work I wanted to do. Over this time period, my mom passed away from cancer when I was 28, and shortly after, my dad passed away from cancer as well at 30. Along this journey of their pain, disease, and suffering, I was called to study far deeply into holistic health through the Paul Chek Institute. I was called to study psychology, personal development, and also look within to how I could transmute and work with my own pain and beliefs around my parents' passing. I was left feeling alone in the world, on a path that wasn't mine, and a calling whispering within my heart to follow a dream of transformational coaching. At the time, I felt lost in the dark, but thanks to altering my states, this offered me a way out and a glimpse of the divine. The lessons followed, my learning continued, my mind radically expanded, and it took me time for my body and my beliefs to follow. I started to learn how to assess, prepare, map, induce, and integrate altered states, and not just to use them in a healing capacity, but in a transformative container of where I am now and where I want to be, and how I can use these altered states as a toolkit to get there. In this process of learning, discovering, reading, and embodying, I learned the 3 drivers of flow, and through a holistic lens, how to use, embody, and sustain them. I now get to work with people and inspire them at the deepest level through transformational coaching containers and workshops. And my mission is really just getting started. This mission is to empower people to use peak and altered states to find passion and purpose in their life, and how to embody this with clarity and map out their future and literally walk and live it. Number 1 is living your why and your purpose. Number 2 is altering your states to alter your traits. And number 3 is embodiment, how you can move, reset, and fuel your body to access and sustain peak flow and performance within your life. Why are you here in this unique incarnation and expression at this time in the cosmos? We need to depattern our conditioning and figure out where we're moving from a heart-centered place. We need to figure out where we want to work, how we can add value to the world, what our skills are, and how this all converges in our life and path. We want to ignite our inner calling. We want to listen to where our passion and curiosity is guiding us to, like an inner compass kind of unfolding the way. As Carl Jung, the famous Swiss psychologist, famously said, "He who looks outside dreams, he who looks within awakens." How do we take this inner awareness from where we want to go and move from a place of purpose, creativity, and curiosity with the goal to add value, beauty, and truth in the world? The number 2 thing to increase flow in your life is to activate and map out altered states and peak states. Now, just to back up a bit, we've been doing this for a long time. We now find ourselves in the third wave of psychedelics are being reframed as toolkits, not just for therapeutic benefits, but also to optimize ourselves, to be used in leadership roles, to be used to access creativity, to better our mood, to connect with each other, to be more aware of our space in the planet and within ourselves. And as Paul Austin has pointed out, microdosing plays a vital role in this as a toolkit for performance and leadership and enhancement. Most people do altered states via caffeine, alcohol, drugs, porn, TV, Netflix, YouTube, Instagram scrolling. We are constantly pulling ourselves out of ourselves and into this external stimulus of dopamine reward and little to do with motivation and learning of how we actually got there. According to Jamie Wheel in the book Stealing Fire, the altered states economy is worth nearly $4 trillion a year. There are many interesting overlaps between altered states and microdosing and flow states. One of these is that the default mode babble within your head, which is the constant inner chatter related to the egoic system, but also the functioning system of your patterns and conditioning of how you operate within the world, your thought patterns and reactions to specific encounters, people, places, things, run all on this default mode, and how we live is literally how we react to this function within our brain. Altered states, small doses, disrupt this default mode network, allowing new neural pathways to sink in, allowing us a feeling of deeper connection, allowing us a feeling of meaning, allowing us a feeling of oneness with nature, allowing us to move from a space of awareness and within our bodies, an embodied experience of being on this earth and our role to play in protecting and cherishing and adding value to it. Number 3 is how do we embody this? Embodiment is a huge part of living, bringing things out of the mental rational space and living and walking it. Sometimes this can take longer than expected as insights, new ways of thinking take a bit of time for our bodies and old habits to realize. This is not a linear path of I've had an altered state and therefore I'm now a different person. But these altered states can give you radical insights into yourself, your past, beliefs, the way you think and act within the world, and it takes time and a container to embody and integrate that. How do we from there create a roadmap to attune our mind and body connection? How can we reset our stress levels? How can we regulate our nervous system? How can we use small doses to radically shift our neurological and epigenetic expression? and how from this all can we functionally move and use our body to walk this walk on the planet and follow our calling. I'm hoping at this point I've invoked your curiosity. Are you ready to move and act from a state of purpose? Would you like to learn how to map and activate your states? And would you like to embody and walk your mission on this earth? I've built a 12-week container called the Flow Accelerator of how to access and sustain flow states. The 6 first weeks of the course are 6 weekly live lectures where we will be accessing and speaking about the 6 principles and drivers of flow. This is done in a community call where you can rewatch if you can't make the lectures. There will be workbooks, PDFs, flow state protocols where we will be altering our states. And then we create a 6 weeks integration transformational container where we share in a group our troubles and successes within the 6 drivers of flow. You will be able to develop high performance habits, identify, foster and harness flow activators to build sustainable momentum, map your goals, states, dreams and experiences to harness flow in every area of your life, and minimize the gap between who you are and who you want to become. If you want to learn to master your momentum and sustain flow, then please apply for the next Flow Accelerator cohort. The application is on www.dose.coach. I will also provide all these links in the description below, so if you would like to apply for the Flow Accelerator course, if you want to know how small doses can create big changes in your life, then please either comment flow below, please follow the scheduling link to book an assessment call to see if we are the right fit for each other and if I can help you get from A to B within your life. I hope this has been somewhat informative, and during the course we will do a way deeper dive into this stuff. But thank you for your time, and I'm hoping by the end of this, that's 12 minutes. I hope we get to gain back an hour of your life.